Seraph comes in, he goes to the skies, he's already in hammer form, so it's going to be real scary for him as he tries to flash to the back of the pit. Good damage from Lyra. We're trying to get up.
I'm lucky Syndra, I'm lucky Syndra.
신드라 신드라 렛츠고 신드라 렛츠고 신드라 신드라 알고 신드라
Recon after, back.
Look at that. Shockwave on Pyrian and Seraph coming in. Will Envy be able to retaliate? Apollo's on the outside firing in, but he is just chipping away at the brick wall in their first Summer Split game of the LCS, and they will take down the Nexus to take down Game 1. Welcome back. The teams are gearing up for round 2 of Team Envy versus Dignitas. And we do have to start with our player of the game for Game 1. It's got to be Big. He was big.
Yep. Dig big. Dig big, coming up big. I definitely think that Big deserved it there. He made a lot of those plays. The first pick, Thresh, was huge for them. Honorable mention, though, of course, Keen, his shockwaves in the fights. But you do have to consider that Big did a lot of the heavy lifting for the playmaking to set those plays up, just like we had seen in that role.
Absolutely. Honorary mention going to Keen, obviously those shockwaves, but when we thought about it, we were saying those hooks were then followed up by a big old shockwave. So Big was putting all those items, all that gold on the plate for his team to just come up with those plays.
They had pretty much the same scoreline, too. I believe they both ended 2-0 and 7, same KP. So they both were able to, do a lot of the lifting.
Carrying from support. That's what I like to see. I mean, Wolf showed that you can do it, right? It's definitely a thing. It's definitely a thing.
The playmakers are back, for sure.
The playmakers are back. That's what I like to see. So coming into Game 2, Envy definitely going to have to step things up. They had a composition that did not go their way, but as we said before, the synergy was there. They were running the composition as they did before Dignitas just found a way through it.
Yeah, it was really kind of just Dig waiting to scale. Envy, the onus is on them to then make early game moves, but then they had Lyra on Ivern in the jungle. It's a great champion for when you get to that later part of the game, but you need some type of hyper carry.
Absolutely.
And that was a team that really wanted you to kind of run at them. But by the time that Dignitas wanted to run at Envy, Keen was already this gigantic monster, Orianna with large CS advantage, more than 10 per minute, just really kind of destroying the game. More than 11 per minute, actually, at the rate that he was going.
And vision was big for both of these teams. On the side of Envy, it was a lot of early game vision. These Iverns going for the sight stones, continuously putting vision towards the top side for Seraph, but then not much was done with it. On the flip side, we didn't see Dignitas do too much when they didn't have vision, and that's a big change. They took over the Baron pit, then they did it. They took over certain parts of the map, then they moved on them. Much more concise in those processes.
Yeah, there was a lot of gaps in the vision for Envy.
Yeah.
But it's kind of inexcusable when you have 2 Ruby Sightstones or a Ruby Sightstone and then a Sightstone on your team. That should really never happen. The Baron was able to be picked up twice with it being started out of vision.
Absolutely.
And had to kind of be sniffed out by either the control ward that spotted Lod or even just kind of just being like, okay, maybe they're doing it now. And that's not something that should happen. But they're in a weird position where they aren't a team that gets to be aggressive based on composition. So how are you going to get those wards? Who's the safe person to walk up and go for him? Hakuo can, and then he can get hooked or have one of his battle dashes interrupted.
Right.
So I definitely think it's very difficult for that composition to even accomplish taking over the vision and control. So I want to see something different from Envy.
The game starts here, as it does in picks and bans, but more so for Envy. This is where things need to change, as Dignitas coming in with a pretty sound composition in Game 1. We'll see some of the same bans most likely coming through. Take that Zyra away from Hakuo and Envy in the first round. Thresh was first picked for Big on the side of Team Dignitas.
Interesting that they would ban away the Caitlyn when it's a good champion for Hakuo, and it's honestly first pickable in a lot of cases, but they decide that Karma will be up, Zyra might be up, even Lulu, Galio, right? So there's a lot of things that right now in the meta can be picked up first pick. Elise and Zach being 2 bans that were on Team Envy's side and now picked up by Dignitas.
Good point.
Fiora was another ban, as well as Zyra that had come through previously by Dig, so they give up those 2 bans.
Blanc gets taken out again, making sure Keen can't do anything too big. And they know the Orianna is still there for him. Actually, not even to say the Orianna. The guy's got such a big champion pool, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
If you are going to target him, they're just hoping to not see the LeBlanc at this point. Jace gets taken out, so someday has a bit easier of a lane as well.
Yeah, first pick, Zyra possibility here. Karma as well. Would think that you would go for one of those two. It's interesting that the Karma was not picked up by them previously or picked or banned at all, and had opted instead to go for the combo of the Zyra Rakan.
Once again, feeling good on the Twitch. Always is nice to go from game to game on a comfort champion. I think we can all relate to that in queue when you're trying to go and solo your way through a day. You're like, if I can keep playing that, that feels good.
And then autofill. No! Still, the Twitch, though, picked up for Lod, so we'll see what they pair that with. Potential for another Shen, Orianna. Right here, though, you would expect your support to come through. Big, very vocal about what they should be picking here. And wants the Thresh again. He's like, give it to me.
Enjoy seeing some good hooks coming out. See if we'll get any flash plays this time.
Yeah, and you talked about comfort. They're just going back to what worked in the previous game. Being a playmaker for Big worked out. We heard even in the roll-in how vocal he was, and that's exactly what they wanted on the team, is a more vocal member in that support position, it seems. And it worked out then. We'll see if it works out again.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to keep the picks and bans matched this time as we separated top and mid for Shen and Syndra after the bot lane pick. Separated once again now for jungle mid.
Yeah, and now we see Lee Sin for Lyra, so early game pressure here. Apollo, though, on his classic old school Wiz Fusion style. Going for the Varus here.
He's doing it.
Yeah.
That range in.
The root. This
Lock
is a
down.
double ranged bottom lane versus a ranged and a mildly ranged support for Team Dignitas. So Team Envy have a bit of a push advantage on that bottom side of the map. Better for them. Little more pick potential as well. But it's Lyra on this early game jungler that I really want to see do something here, because that was a big problem in the previous game. But also, I like this from Dignitas. They're actually banning the Zyra away, saying that Karma potential for Pyrian.
Absolutely. We did see the Karma in the mid lane just recently. Jarvan banned out. There's still shields to be had. They could have the Shen on the top side for this Lod on Twitch. And do that eggs in the basket composition once again. Final band here, Coach Violet on your screen. Chatting with the team. They have 10 seconds left.
Interesting, because if you ban Galio, you get Shen. If you ban Shen, you get Galio.
That's true.
Leave both up. Potential for you to pick one of them. And they ban away the Rengar instead, because they don't want to have to face a Rengar ball composition once more. So delivery system and that jungler off the table.
All right.
It's the run back.
It literally
It's the salty. It's the actually sweet run back. It's not so salty on the
that,
They won.
Sweet run back.
Going
A little
back.
sour for Envy maybe if you get the same composition coming through. Still liking the Rakan, likes the engage plus disengage potential for yourself.
And that would mean it's a shielding composition or slightly from the mid lane with Pyrian. And I think that Talia is a better suit. Yeah, because it normally goes like this, where Talia is supposed to be the counter to Orianna. Orianna counters Cassiopeia, and then Cassiopeia just does well into Talia.
So then does that become the Galio, which dives in with the Talia, which is there with the Lee Sin and a speedy team with shields? It does not.
It becomes...
It does not.
It becomes a fantastic team to build Adaptive Helm against. That's what Team Envy have drafted for themselves. Adaptive Helm makes it so that when you're hit by a spell, you reduce the damage of the same named spell for like basically 4 seconds, etc. But that means Talia Q is reduced by Adaptive Helm. Talia E is reduced by Adaptive Helm. Rumble Flame Spitter is reduced by that. Equalizer, the key abilities, the damaging abilities of the two big carries from Team Envy, the Soul Laners, are shut down by a single magic item purchase that you could easily see on Someday to pretty much soak all this damage.
And actually run it through to the graves this time as well to finish things off. A little bit more power here. This is a scary team coming in from Team Dignitas, but as well, Team Envy, if they get themselves ahead here, they could be even more explosive with their ability to move around the map.
Yeah, they'd have to move around, rotate, and make some early game moves, but Dignitas are going to do exactly the same thing that they just did in the last game. You have to imagine this is one of the most easy things to prepare for as a coach, as somebody who's setting up your players, to tell them, you know what, they picked the same thing. This is what went wrong last game.
Right.
This is what
That's
we
where I
should
was
do
going.
this game. Literally applies where you pick up exactly what went wrong in the last game
and then you can put it in this one and change things. The adaptations from Envy and Pick Ban don't seem to be enough at face value. We'll have to see if the changes are enough in game.
Still leaving it a little up to what happens in the laning phase. They have a bit of a new player in the mid lane. We saw Pyrian taking hits from Keen last time. He was able to get himself to a fighting position, but the team just was altogether too far behind to make anything happen. Team Dignitas now coming off of momentum. Hashtag Dig win in game 1. Hashtag Envy win here in possible game 2. Get your votes in there. We'll show those out throughout the cast. And the players definitely want to feel your support. We are about to be on to the Rift. We have game 2 coming up, Envy versus Dignitas. We're about to get into this one live.
We'll see what happens here. Also, Doran Shield purchases again for both top laners, but also for both AD carries. Like I said with the Twitch Poison interaction where it keeps ticking on the Doran Shield, it's exactly the same with Deathfire Touch. So Rumble's Deathfire Touch, if he has it, will tick Someday Shield over and over again, so pushing the Shen out of lane, not something you get to do. Envy, though, they are looking for a little bit more wombo combo. You can Equalizer on top of Apollo's ultimate if he gets a Chain of Corruption. But that's kind of like the big money that you're looking for here from Envy. Otherwise, I feel like Dig have way more options.
Feels like Dig can still miss a few of those ultimates and still kind of take the fight.
Yeah.
If you miss that Equalizer, you're going to be running away.
Exactly. And I think just Dig scale really well once again.
True.
Bonus here for Envy, though. Shoving top lane. The mid lane will be a little bit better for them. But also Lyra. If Lyra can go back to the performances he had on carry champions, or at least early game setup champions like this Lee Sin, then this could be a good setup for Envy if they get an early game lead. I mean, if we're looking at an Envy in summer that doesn't even get those early game leads, that they couldn't close games out with, what does Envy even have at that point?
Well, they try again now with a different composition, putting Lyra from the Ivern onto that damage that everybody was looking for. Remember the control fervor Nidalee just owning a game 5 minutes in at the end of the split last time. We'll see if he can replicate that. Not too much assistance. A few rocks over the wall coming in from Pyrian. Talia, or I'm sorry, Keen doing the same thing for Chaser on the top side. And Apollo and Hakuo continuously gaining a bit of aggression in the mid, or the bot lane.
Yep.
But not holding it for too long.
Yeah, right here, though, they're just getting zoned off completely. I like this from Apollo and Hakuo. Like I said, they have the winning bottom lane as well, with the double ranged into one that's semi-ranged. So they get to push the Twitch off. Definitely a better than melee versus melee support matchup that now you get to pressure in. So yeah, across the board, though, Envy have winning top, mid, and bottom lanes. Like, they've drafted well for the laning phase. If Lyra can affect these lanes and turn somebody or multiple people into monsters that just dominate the lane, then the team fights could be a moot point, but then it's on Envy to continue the momentum of the game. It's a harder composition to pull off. It's very jungle reliant, as well as your laners can never get caught out and lose momentum, because Dignitas can just rubber band right back in with this comp.
Missing a few CS in mid there off of kind of fighting ability to ability. Easy to hit a lot of the wave in that situation. Big, level 2, looking for a hook. Soul Flare through, throws it just a little low as Hakuo hugs the wall.
Yeah, Hakuo's doing a lot of level 2 roaming. They seem to shove out bottom and then go for a level 2 roam right on Chaser there to be around that area and go for the Scuttle Crap. Smited it, just finished it off faster, and then Big got to finally rotate. It was a little bit off.
The idea of where Lyra is in the head of Dignitas, but a good word from Pyrian just shows where Chaser is. Now you can see the pathing here from Lyra. See if that ends up in the top lane, if his wave pushed out fast enough on Someday's side. Good positioning by Pyrian. Keeping Keen pushed in as an Orianna would. Whoop.
Shen gets the nice combo with the pass through of the Q after Eing. So constantly just throws out those attacks, which will sustain up with the Doran shield, etc. And Lyra taking that top side jungle because, like you said, they spotted out Chaser on the bottom side. But this guy's under turret. It would be a dive on a Shen. Ill-advised.
Wave came back, Flame spitted forward. Seraph said, I'm backing anyways. Lyra does as
Big
well.
Big play, Chaser fair.
Forward, Lantern back. The hook is going to come in, but there's just too many minions to make it happen. It looks like they're backing out of the situation already anyway.
Oh, that's the TP from both top laners there. Seraph already backed, and now he's going to run towards that top side, but someday I'll have to back soon. Actually, he's pretty good if he wants to stick around. Oh, wow. Big actually blocked that, and Chaser didn't have to stop his recall. And he expected that to still hit him.
Ooh.
Oh, wow, they're going again?
I was going to say, it looks like they come close. So
What?
close. Oh, the predict hook. Big's going to be there.
Lyra's
With the
there,
counter
Lyra's
from
there.
Lyra. Big's going to be the first one going down. They focus over onto Apollo, but what is the fight? A 2v2 with a rooted Chaser, and they actually don't choose to go. Lyra had already
Lyra had
backed up,
flash.
but Hakuo wanted it, and now they flash forward. The afterthought causing a few of those summoners.
Talia.
But it's not over. Pyrion's there. It's just going to be a few rocks. The last hit as he unravels the earth and rips the rug out from under Chaser. Lod now trying to do everything he can. 200 HP and 0 mana as he runs for the base.
Yeah, and they are not going to catch him out there and continue that because they blew the flash from Pyrion, and now he has to go back to mid to catch this wave or else he loses too much in terms of experience. We'll see how much he actually gets of it. He has to take a safe way around. This is a setup here. Hakuo does get hooked, and then Lyra is in the bush. Lands the Q, they blow up big, they blow a lot on him, but then you already have your 80 carry down. Almost picked this one up too. Lyra's waiting on the cooldown, but he blows his flash that would have hit, and Chaser has to blow his as well. And they end up going 2 for 1 though.
Surfing down.
Overall. Woo. Yeah, finishes him off there. Tries to go after a lot of it, but takes some turret shots for the road.
I do like the fact that MV didn't say, hey, we're down here, Lod's 200 HP. We have to kill him anyways, right?
Yeah.
We've seen that happen so many times with teams where it turns out they did stay extra, and now they're losing 3 members.
Yeah.
So nicely done pulling off there, knowing the advantage and when it was gained. Still, kills going to both sides in that engage.
Yeah, maybe could have picked him up, but it's one of those things that if that kill doesn't go over to Pyrion, then Pyrion is down a lot. If he gets like an assist with 2 assists on it, then he's just splitting and getting like 75 gold for his troubles, where he would fall so far behind Keen. You can already see, because of that roam, he's already down multiple CS now. 16 at the moment. So he's suffering a bit in this lane. But because of the kill, he's even in gold.
Hail of arrows for a venomous cask. Seems like a pretty good trade for those two. They go back and forth. Level 6 very close for these bot laners, but now we have to remember that is a level 6 for someday. There is no crowd control to keep him in that lane if he decides he needs to help his team.
Yeah. Also, didn't blow teleport, didn't back, or sorry, he blew the teleport to match, but didn't go back and walk. He just decided, I need to stay in the lane. I'll be down an amp tome in terms of what the Rumble has. Oh well. So I like that he stayed instead of actually going back there and feeling like he had to fight the Rumble or needed more survivability because he's really just even with him and potentially has kill pressure because Shen, with 2 taunts, can get a lot of damage.
Well, there's 1 taunt, and you're below half.
Yeah, Shen actually does a whole bunch when you get the taunt guaranteed Q pass through.
Feels so good, too, because you can do it in a giant minion wave and not really care.
Throw down the W,
Yep.
dodge all that cannon minion damage.
Spirit's Refuge feels good.
They know Chaser's in this bush. Lyra spotted him on the way in. Waiting for the red smite. And there's, ooh, not great, but
A little far behind. Looks like they're going to back off on this one. They do get the ultimate from the Stand United in. Seraph had a pretty fast roam down, even though his teleport just came up. So now he can still match that with Someday. Well played there.
yeah, warded the red as well, so they'll see Chaser on that red. But yeah, they blew a flash from Seraph for a flash from Keen. That's the difference there after that fight. Pretty much ultimates used 2 members for 1, and that's it. But they're just looking for something, and that equalizer wasn't really that great. They expected some hesitation there. I like the diagonal equalizers a little bit more.
First Rumble might have been that smart cast, you know. We'll give it to him. But you're right. It wasn't very, it didn't have the forethought of the exit. It was kind of the, oh, the fight's happening.
Yeah, put it on top of them. Yeah. The equalizers that are diagonal against walls are usually better because it puts the enemy in a hard position. They have to think, do I walk straight through this thing, or do I get kind of funneled towards the wall, avoid the damage, but now I'm kind of pinched in?
You wait for it to wear out.
Exactly, and then it just feels bad, and you have to make that decision in a quick second too. And a lot of people just walk over it.
Yep. There, they were pretty much off it at the start. And now 2-1 to take stock of everything that's happened so far. Just 9 minutes in, the gold basically even with about a 500 split there. they continue to push each other in here. Again, the mid lane somewhat flying under the radar. We saw a bit of a movement from Pyrian in the beginning as Envy is being more proactive here in the early game.
Yeah, Envy trying to be more proactive here. Nice. But yeah, I definitely think Lyra is a big part of that. 100% KP for himself, making sure that he's active on the map. Hands off Pyrian, his second blue buff of the game. He had one earlier, I believe.
Seraph behind here on Sunday. He's easy in the bush. No extra damage as the lane resets on the top side. So looking at what possibilities Envy can make with this composition, when do they actually explode? When do you try to get around what Orianna can provide? Actually, in the bot lane, they're trying to do it right now. Lod didn't expect this to come in. The focus resolve locks in Lod, but Lod flashes out. Turret shots onto Apollo, tanking it nicely until the team can get the kill they need. Summoner's blown everywhere down there.
Picking on the Twitch, I like it. They're roaming down. Pyrian came down, didn't even have to use the Weaver's Wall to do so.
Not something you usually see, but knowing the Stand United was down from the mid lane, a shockwave over to Pyrian as he weaves the wall up to the Wolf Pit. Now they're still going. Chaser comes in, and the line is missed. They take down big. They take a fight. They can't finish. And now they're going to go past the minions. That's going to be the hit. The burn is on, and they also drop Chaser.
And Envy now off to a 5-1 lead in kills, up about 2,000 gold. And that TP from Seraph ended up being necessary. The equalizer finished him off. He got the money from it as well, and he's looking for an early Leandries as his purchase.
Using the Stand United window in bot lane to make something happen here. Pyrian starts it off, and the rest of the team tanks this one well.
Yeah, great route from Apollo. He landed the Chain of Corruption, which then landed the Pyrian knockup from there. Got himself the seismic shove to make sure that he can get that kill. Then the entrance again here. So everybody's just chilling. It was a long time. Big was just hanging out by the minion wave. He goes down, and then they get this kill onto Chaser. He's trying to run away. That's diagonal equalizer. I like those ones better. You can't move off to the left or right. You have to go through it and spend that time there. But yeah, we have a pause on stage at the moment. As Envy, man, just really took over that early game, up about 3.3 thousand gold for themselves.
And it's been less about trying to get the wards in to make it happen, rather than we see this happening, we have to act now, and we know based on where everybody is on the map, we don't need the vision to make it safe. It is safe to make the play, and it seems like they're pulling the trigger much faster.
And the thing I like about this is they're punishing the Thresh pick. The Thresh was first picked in the last game, and then they decided to pick Rakan into it, who really has playmaking potential, but it's not a lane bully. It's not going to shove the lane in as brutally as something like a Karma or a Zyra. They pick Hakuho this time, the Karma, and now he's actually 2 levels up over Big as support. They're crushing that bottom lane, and they're making sure that they can just take advantage of it. Right now, Hakuho, I talk about how he's been a large key in pretty much the successes that they had in spring alongside Lyra. He's 2-0-3. Only person on the team with 100% kill participation, and he's been doing work this game. And the fact that they shove the wave and it's under turret so you can dive this low mobility Twitch, this actual low mobility Thresh, makes it so it's perfect for the Taliyah to follow this up.
And they actually went for that play so hard, apparently his contact fell out. So we're waiting to get a little contact solution.
Whose?
Hakuo's.
Ah. Oh, boy.
So just waiting to get that back. We'll get him fixed up and back into game. Things going well, as we said, for Envy here. Dignitas, as you said, not the sweet run back of basically the same composition from game 1, and it doesn't seem like they're going to get time to ramp up here.
Yeah, I like that what they did for Envy is say, okay, the change we'll make is we'll win the lane, right? We'll win these lanes. They have pushing top lane, pushing mid, pushing bot side, and I really do think that this punishing the picking of the Thresh with the exact same composition is what you can go ahead and leverage. And yeah, make sure you always thoroughly clean it, especially when it falls out onto the ground or something, because you do not want a piece of dirt on that.
In your eye. You just stick your face in the ground.
You get
the same thing. You don't do that.
No, scratched corneas are awful.
Nope.
Absolutely terrible.
Lessons with Zyrene, Dr. Zyrene.
It happened to my friend once. I was like, why did you put that back in after it fell out? And I was like, the 5-second rule. I'm like, that doesn't apply to contacts. Perfect solution.
See? Even
don't rub your eyes either.
Good thing we didn't have any jalapenos for lunch today. Looks like we will be getting back in the game soon. And Hakuo is set now with his bionic vision.
Yeah. You know, that play from him is like we were talking. You definitely want to be on point. 2-0-3, 100% KP. Don't want to mess that up.
Doing very, very well. Played well for the team as towards the end of the split with Lyra, their synergy and being in and out of these types of situations going very well. And to now see that with Pyrian, those dives going well in the start of the split for them with their new mid laner, the thing they needed to change is good to see for Envy.
And it definitely helps Pyrian kind of give away resources. If he doesn't think he can really win lane against Keen or anything like that, just shove it in as Talia and then go elsewhere, make another play happen, keep mid warded, and now he's going to go have the help of Hakuo, clear out these wards, or not. Potentially go for, yeah, to see that that one's in there. They know he's going to try to go for this, and so they have Lyra in the area. If you two-man clear that, could be rough. It's like they know that you're there. It's a risky play to go for, but yeah, it's just fighting over the vision back and forth. A lot of this is, it's funny because like professional play, a lot of it is fighting over vision back and forth based on who's there, who has wards, who can't be there, etc. And it's all about pushing those vision lines up. We don't talk about it a whole bunch, but it's really like a rotation constantly of control wards going in and out of the river and then people placing vision down. Not a lot of fun to really kind of explain, but I definitely think that it's important because it allows things to happen around mid, especially when you have a composition that wants to roam, like Pyrian on this Nalia. If they can control mid lane, they can control the pressure that's put on Keen every time Pyrian clears the wave.
There's so many. I feel like there's so much more that can be done with ward games. We see in the end of a lot of games, nothing happens. The fight happens over a ward. There's a lot of that to be explored. As right now, team's very, very hesitant to make anything happen. Early game.
Everybody left bottom side. Pyrian playing towards the top side here, and Seraph's there too.
These 5 kills. I'm sure Dignitas is making sure this happens exactly how they want it. Nothing to chance with the amount of power that Envy already has right now. You cannot just give them that much more surplus. Back down to the bot side. Laud on this Twitch. Yep. Using that speed, the team has the entirety of the first game too to go from lane to lane continuously. Try to move Envy around.
Yeah, look at that bottom turret already below half HP, down to about a third or a fourth. That's just from the lane pressure. I think that that's what Envy really should be leveraging here, and they are. Just that bottom lane pressure. Hakuo and Apollo playing quite well. If they're able to just shove in and play this matchup appropriately, they'll be in a good spot. And they may even get first turret for their team, so Lyra should be playing towards that side, and so should Pyrian.
You see Laud giving out some commands as he head back.
Yeah, and look what Seraph does every time. Like, if you're a top laner and you really want to, like, punish a top lane matchup without your jungler, just shove it up when you have a shove advantage, like against a Shen who doesn't have Titanic or Tiamat or anything.
That's what I was going to say.
Galio, this is why Galio is so highly prioritized by a lot of teams, is the Q with triple Dorans clears the wave, and then you go elsewhere. You don't even have to make a play, but it makes the mid laner play safer. He'll miss, like, maybe 1 or 2 CS every time you do that, and then your top laner has to go shove it in or even keep it under his turret and play safe. Because you can dip out of vision and then go top again and gank your own lane, or you can go bottom, or even towards mid. And it applies pressure across the map. Speaking of pressure, Lyra on this bottom side, that turret is so close to going down.
As well as Blue just going over to Pyrian. They steal that away from Chaser and Keen. A living pink ward just the left of Wolves, a ward in Wolves. They have the entirety of the bot side warded for another invade for Pyrian to go back behind that turret that's almost about to fall.
Yeah, this is actually Pyrian's 3rd blue buff. He got 1 off of the kill that he got from killing Chaser down bottom. Then he got the 2nd one handed off to him, and he got that 3rd one right now. So he has actually had a blue buff advantage over Keen for the vast majority of this game.
Goes to show how much he's been able to push the lane but leave Keen to himself. Keen still getting that farm as he does. Great mechanics and making sure that CS is on the up and in a plus advantage for himself.
Yeah, 10 per minute. At that mark already. Seraph, though?
The equalizers are cutting it a little short here.
It's a little better. He does get the flash, though. I mean, I wouldn't complain too much about that.
That is true.
Because if he's going to flash and ghost away from that, that is worth.
I feel if he just pointed at the turret.
Yeah.
There's more direction. I'm asking for a lot. That's all it is. That's all it is.
But I mean, if you get both those summoners now, your next equalizer means a whole bunch.
Very true. It's
Yeah.
going to come up quicker.
Put that
and
sucker
he
right
has
on him.
Not stop going up and down that
Bod
river.
ganking Apollo in his own lane.
Good hits. Pulled down the rest of the damage. That's all that Lod has. But yeah, as I was saying, Seraph up and down that river. He's got himself a little canoe. Every time his push comes down to mid, and you're right, he won't be able to rinse and repeat on those summoners.
Yeah, but speaking of summoners, Lod flashed forward, Apollo blue flash, and in the state of the map right now, they're on the bottom side getting the Mountain Drake by himself.
Ever so slowly.
Picks it up. Lyra, good impact in the early game so far. It's kind of like handing off to his laners. There's no flash on Twitch. There's no flash on Keen. There's no Ghost. This is the time to make a play. Seraph almost has his ultimate back. He purchases Leandri's already. He's got 20 seconds on Equalizer. This is where you look for a play on the mid or bottom side of the map here. An Adaptive Helm, first item for someday.
There it is.
What did I tell you? This item is ridiculous against the right champions. It's like Executioner's Calling, good against Soraka, right? It's like Adaptive Helm, good against Rumple, good against Talia. Kind of makes a lot of their damage moot.
Yep. We'll see how much Someday just sticks in these fights. And Lyra goes from objective to objective. You know what? I just got that Drake. It's going to help me take down the next thing. Little do they know they're in vision.
Yep. That Rift Herald trying to get that top side of the map here. Pyrian bullying Keen, who has no summoner spells. They got him out of there, though. Seraph caught. Lod also here.
Going to be good damage onto Seraph. A taunt coming in, possibly flash from Someday.
Oh, he
ends
didn't
it
get
just short. Could live. Seraph, one more auto. Decides to stay in the fight and go down valiantly. I think he might have been able to make it out alive. There's the hook onto Hakuo. They do not decide to go in. Lyra. Oh,
Don't do it.
That would have been a kill, but he knows he needs to stay safe, and they can take mid.
I don't usually say don't do it when Lee Sin lands a Q, but against the Thresh, you don't do it. The outplay of the flay,
And
never
that
gonna.
range- and
You're
that
never.
range.
You're never gonna connect that. Don't do it. Oh, oh, he was so close. If there was not another minion there, and that one had been sucked up inside the shockwave, that was a dead Hakuo there.
He's also quite lucky that Pyrian's running heal.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That was some damage and a half. Pyrian staying up here. He has worked just about every bit of ground. Oh, he found a piece there. That'll be good. Actually has another one just to his right. We'll see this play once again. The hooks from Big really lighten things up for the team.
Yep. Hook again onto Seraph there. The Lantern to get a lot closer. Someday didn't quite get the top flash there, but that play stopped Lyra from having the right kick flash. What he was trying to do was kick flash Someday into Big and stop that play, but the flay was perfect, gave them the time, and then Lyra's kick went to the side instead of exactly back, which he wanted. So Big really layering the CC appropriately, because he could have played really early on in that.
Seems like he's feeling quite comfortable in his first game here with Dignitas.
Yeah, and that gets them pretty much back in the game too, in terms of not giving over the Rift Herald. Now it dies. They don't pick it up in time.
It is.
Envy don't pick it up.
It is
and
pretty
they get
crazy
that back.
how much of that can happen in the early game, and you see these few plays now that item spikes have happened, that a turret or two can be taken down if you do it at the right time.
Yeah, and because, like you said, item spikes, Tiamat and Adaptive Helm. Now, Someday shoves in the Rumble, doesn't take much damage at all. And now they get to make these types of plays. Look at that, Seraph. No flash.
Oh, he still does so much damage if he only had a team, but that's the plays that Dig is trying to make. Hit them when they don't have the team to retaliate.
I don't even know if you kill Someday here.
He can just taunt out if he really needs to. The energy's low.
Yeah.
He gives himself the Spirit's Refuge and still keeps himself alive.
The Adaptive Helm just does so much for him, and he gets away with Merc Treads too.
Oh, man.
Like, CCing this guy, keeping him down is not going to happen here. He's just going to get tankier. His damage will go up when he has the Titanic Hydra. And this Adaptive Helm, like, to also put it in perspective as well, it says taking damage from a spell or effect reduces all subsequent magic damage taken from that spell or effect for by 15% for 4 seconds. Means Leandri's is also reduced by it. You're reducing Deathfire Touch by a little bit. It's just everything adds up, and it just really is this gigantic boon for people in right comp.
A smiley face icon that says you have denied this much enemy damage. And you can just chuckle.
It would get pretty disgusting pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Like, if you're looking at an ability from, like, a Rumble that
hits you one tick and then the rest of it is just negated, and then he keeps doing that, like that's his main damaging ability. He does that in lane. You're racking up thousands of damage every single fight.
We like big numbers here, right?
Yeah.
Let's see big numbers. Keen clears off, finally gets a blue for himself as we see that hovering around him. It has been stolen quite a bit by Lyra in the motion of Envy here, getting around the map much more, as we said, proactive since the get-go. And Dignitas looking to stop him towards the top side. Someday in trouble again in 2v1.
We'll see what he's able to do here. Doesn't land the taunt. It's taking a while to take him down, though.
Shimmy, he's gonna shake.
Yep.
They're gonna shoot him down.
Yeah. Pyrian not even using a wall there. It's just Someday caught out as the rest of his team is trying to make a move towards the top side of the map to defend this really low turret. How much does Seraph get off of this, though? Seraph has teleport to possibly make a play. There it is immediately. Keen's going to see that, though. Puts a ball on it. He's going to cancel. It's like, nope, not going there.
Unfortunate.
Back to shoving the bottom lane and getting this tier 2. You know what Seraph kind of does best.
It's still a good plan. Should be able to get the turret mid lane pushed up as well, so respect there from Keen.
I don't really like it from Seraph because Someday now has double global advantage over him. And rest of Envy, like Seraph could go push a turret, that's fine. He's a Rumble, it's not going to happen quickly. But the rest of Envy now get to make plays like diving, you know, preventing dives, going in. Woo. Oh!
Instant open up. The blind hook on to Apollo, almost hitting.
Yeah, very close to hitting him there. Actually, I believe burned heal for movement speed to just get out of range.
Yeah, 'cause he was still
he
slowed up.
Yeah, he was making sure that he blew heal to get away from the damage from the Twitch. Also helped him escape the hook.
Those hooks are on point, and they've been leading hooks as well. He's not just going for his target, he's playing their movement, which actually feels a little bit better as well.
Yeah.
When you know you're in their head, you're going to be either playing the zone hook or a hit hook is where you go from there.
Yeah, and when the person's up against the wall like that, if you are leading them with it,
Exactly.
their options are they hit S and they stop and it goes in front of them, but then they take more auto attacks from Twitch, or they walk into your hook and then they die. Or they move and speed out.
There you go.
That's the last one, but they get a summoner spell for that. So it's really the best option that he could possibly go for there.
Nicely done. 2 of those Thresh games in a row. Seem to be locking things down for the team. And 6-3 here means Envy has been able to get those kills, remove Dig from the map. But like we said, it happened early. There weren't too many turrets to follow with that. Dignitas has a lot of gold themselves sitting in that front outer row of turrets here again, going for the next Mountain Drake.
Lyra's in there.
Lyra's got the hit, he's got the execute, and it looks like he is going to actually use that. Already takes it. One shot from Lod.
That wasn't
and
smite.
Lyra smites. Oh no, you're right, he did.
Nope. That was a auto attack at 92 HP, I believe. Chaser smited it. Lyra was like, no, there's not enough damage around. Just waited on it.
The second smite's coming back up, you're right.
Yeah,
Very interesting.
Yeah, another interesting equalizer as well, kind of to zone there. But Envy, this is what you have to keep in mind. I didn't like the comp at the start, and I still really don't like how you have to execute on this because Digger just kind of all around and more, just a better composition, but they lose the lanes. So Envy played for lanes, played for their aggressive jungling. It's not something you can completely rely on, but I definitely think that now they're in a great spot because look at the Drakes too. Infernal coming up, and when you have advantaged lanes, you totally get to take control of that Drake pit. 2 mountains means if they're left alone with Baron, Envy could potentially take a Baron very quickly as well.
What a change in game. Dignitas still yet without a turret at 25 minutes in. And moving as a group. Finally getting that pink ward down to see that they just showed themselves. With this now, let's Envy know. Top side of the map is a bit of priority. Obviously, Sunday is going to be in the bottom. They just need to know where the rest of those 4 members are.
This was a little bit more reminiscent of a game of the spring split from Envy, where they have those early game advantages. They can win some lanes, but they got to win the game.
Yep.
They got to close it out. And it's like Lyra, man, did his job, set him up. It's the solo laners that really have to bring it home, as well as Apollo on that AD carry position, because they even said that themselves when they replaced Ninja. They brought in Pyrian. They have Niski as well coming in.
Yep.
And they're saying we need people who can carry in these roles, not just split the map up, and people who have less variance to them as well. So if Envy can start systematically closing out a game with an advantage, and that's very hopeful for a team that was in 10th place last split.
Absolutely. They have options, as we said before, but they are very tricky. If we get a good wall in to block off maybe where someday is, they take the fight to the teleport lane, nobody can come behind the second tier. They have a second tier fight. If there is an engage, you have equalizer after the wall falls. So many little things, but they have to have their waves in place at the right time. Top is there for them, but they're trying to work on mid and bot.
And those inner turrets, pesky for Envy. Comes down to kind of like a siege, but you don't want to get countered. You might have, I think you have to use Talia just a little bit better. And we'll see here. Kick back.
Oh,
Nice route.
I was going to say the damage will take a while, but he sets it up right in the middle of the team in the firing spot.
I'm pretty sure that Someday was probably mashing the hell out of his taunt key, and he doesn't get to do it till the very end. Kick, gets rooted, kick back, right into a seismic shove, and then he finally gets root. Actually, no, he gets rooted in the middle of that too. That's even more.
You just put my face on the keyboard at that point and roll back and forth.
Yeah, he's like rooted, kick back, rooted again by the Varus ultimate, seismic shove, taunts, and then he dies.
You're up, just keep clicking.
Yep.
It worked out. Top side of the jungle, vision priority comes out now. A little late even, seeing how early the Barons were last game. And with a 7,000 gold lead, 27 minutes in, Envy looks to start pushing Dignitas around here.
Yeah, also penetration items for Seraph. Went for the fact that, you know, they have tanks on their team, Leandries, but not going for Sork Shoes. Goes for Ninja Tabi because they have 3 people who would deal a lot of physical damage off their auto attacks, including the Shen in there a little bit as well, because he gets extra attack speed. It is a bit of damage that you'll negate. But then the Void Staff, second item, is a great purchase here for the Rumble. So all he wants to do is really shred people down. And he can put an ultimate on that back line like that.
Oh,
Split 'em
separating
up.
the team. Someday over the wall now. A hook onto Hakuo, forced to flash out as he thought he was going to find something else from Keen.
Yeah.
And the team back and forth, checking summoner spells. It was just Hakuo that flashed out there.
Yeah.
Lyra previously.
Yeah, you might be like, why did Hakuo flash there? He actually was pulled right into Chaser's W, the smoke screen, so he can't see if the ball is coming in for a shockwave. So Hakuo flashed away because his vision was nothing.
Still waiting for that ignite. Full kill pressure on the side of Dignitas with double teleport up. Bot wave is kind of just slamming in at a reset point. Seems it will push for Dignitas. Envy heading up towards Baron. A ward is covering on that scrying orb now, so they know there is something happening.
Well, Twitch already backed, and now it's going to be the 3 Koreans coming in. They actually didn't get Chaser off, but look at that. Someday's in the pit. Got a flash.
In and out.
See?
Sometimes you have to.
We've been seeing a lot of Baron sneaks all day today on the stream. It's been just back and forth, and I think it's really good, and it's a good sign for, it's actually a good and bad sign. It's a good sign for the proactive team, bad sign for the vision of the other team, or at least the awareness of what the state of the game is, because we've been seeing them at 22, 23 minutes, this one at 28, but still, it means that teams are playing unafraid of the possibility of a Baron being stolen away from them, and really just understanding how much time it takes for the other team to answer.
Yep.
I really like it. I think it's great, because we need more of that, because it speeds up the game too. Makes it so that this team of Dignitas doesn't have the time to get that Twitch to 4 items, to his armor penetration if he's even going to buy it. Just more crit, get him that Infinity Edge, get him that attack speed boot.
Oh, Kyrian gets his Banshee's Veil blown out, forces a flash on that as well. One thing's now in favor of Dignitas as they slowly gather things back that will help grab objectives as they continue to lose them under the Baron control of Envy. Now towards the bot side, it's going to be a backing Someday. He's actually got Seraph in his face, may be able to see him, but nope.
Nope.
In a brush, just watching it on the mini-map. And now inhibitors are open on that bottom side of the map here for Envy. What a change from game 1.
Yeah, Infernal Drake, time for that. Pick it up for Envy here. 2 mountains and Infernal. And like I said, you can sneak the Baron with 2 mountains. They understood their damage.
Yeah. So I think you can get Dragon, right?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you get it fast. Yeah, when you're winning the lanes, this is how you kind of win lane, win game, is you win lanes, transition that over to other lanes like Pyrian did, and now you can see Lod 2 levels down. Pyrian now a level up over Keen, who he had struggled against in the last game, but they drafted winning lanes and they understand what to do with that. I definitely think the 2 Mountain Drakes, though, helped them out immensely in that Baron take. It was good for them to understand that that's how fast they could take it.
It's funny because I was like, oh yeah, they could totally sneak Baron after I saw 2 mountains, and I completely forgot that they had 2 mountains when they were doing it. So it's one of those, oh man, that's going down real fast.
Yeah, they are definitely speeding things up, as you said before. Off of this one, it was the vision. Seeing Lod back, having a bit more of that early in the game on the other side of the map has really allowed teams to get these Barons favorably. Almost had an engage there. Lod, I mean, he's being twitched, right? He's going, oh no, Keen! In a real bad spot. There's the wall. We've been waiting for a block off. Lyra might be too far in. He's able to tank up enough shots to get that summoner heal coming in from Apollo. And as they work the ground around the mid turret, they're now to the inhibitors. Inhibitor turrets in 2 lanes.
Yeah, that engage of Lod walking up literally comes out of stealth, and Envy's like, wait, Lod's still level 13. Apollo's 16! He's got 3-4 levels down on a lot of these carries, and they're like, wait, that Twitch is bluffing. And they just wall it off. Keen doesn't flash over the wall. He doesn't get ultied from Someday either. It just seems like he felt like he could stand there, but the carries of Envy just have so much gold now.
You have that at multiple points around the map too. 2 levels for Lyra over Chaser is 16 to 14, so that's the 3rd level of the ultimate as we see this again.
He opens up and it's like, wait a second.
That guy.
Hey! And Keen had an opportunity to flash. Someday had an opportunity to ulti him. None of those happened, and they just get picked up there.
That's the shadow scenario. This big scary monsters coming out from around the wall, and it's just tiny little cat just crawling along.
When the Twitch just comes out, it's like, wow! You're running away.
32 minutes in, stretching that gold lead a little bit more and still getting something out of it. It's not necessarily that they have to close the game right now. MB's not letting Dig scale too much. They're keeping the pressure on, but they have to keep it up.
Yeah, they definitely have to keep the pressure on a little bit longer and close the game out. It's funny because it's like, 12,000 gold advantage should be enough to close it. Well, you got to close it still. I think that Pyrian is kind of the key here for the team because I think Weaver's Wall, if placed correctly, can circumvent a lot of teams' issues with closing a game out. Because if you just walk up to the turret, you have a gold lead like this, you're like, man, usually we don't really do well at clearing this out, especially against an Orianna that'll like insta-clear the wave. Just put a diagonal wall on one of the side lanes that walls off the turret, walls off the wave clear. If the wave clears there, you engage, and that really helps. So it's just the macro play, and if you can actually place that wall correctly, I definitely think that the Taliyah pick can help Envy a whole bunch here. I just want to see it.
Make it happen. Well, this goes to kind of show what we talked about in Game 1 about Envy. We saw that while the composition didn't work, they were still playing that composition mechanically sound. They were trying to make moves, put some new champions in their hand. They worked a little bit better because they were synergizing in Game 1. Just not enough. Here, they're getting that lead, and then they're pressing the advantages. This team is working together coming into the summer split now. We'll see if they can keep it up and avoid those champion select mishaps.
Yeah.
Keep this kind of result.
Well, this is also just like a champion select kind of oversight where you do have to win early.
Right.
I consider it great. But look at that. There's the wall. But I don't know if you take this because you don't have Apollo. That was a wall without Apollo.
Yeah, an interesting exit as well for
yeah.
them.
That's a 4v5 at best because you engage and then someday just ultis in. And you don't have Apollo there if you're Envy. So I really didn't like that wall at all.
Tell it, Cyrene.
Yeah.
Tell the wall. Slow mid pushing. It's up to Seraph and Someday now to kind of tango on the side lanes. Help each other get an advantage in this push. Maybe draw somebody a little too far out into a fight. Who makes the move, though? The Taliyah wall's down for half timeout.
Yep. Baron in 34 seconds. Taliyah wall should be up by about that time as well.
30 seconds.
It's actually, yeah, just I'm 1 second behind.
It's crazy. They planned it. And the 3 Drakes to help them do that. Scryer's Bloom shot across the mid lane to make sure they're actually not seen. Very interesting use of that. Those mid lane wards are placed this late in the game to make sure the team's going left or right for the river. Here they can avoid it.
Knight's Vow for Lyra, put on Apollo. It's funny because Knight's Vow was not purchased a whole bunch, even after its buff, forever. And then tank item changes came about, and everybody's like, wait a second, this item was good.
It's pretty good.
You see a lot of people build it so their carries don't die. This item is good. And here's maybe a wall coming through in a second.
Oh,
Whoa, Lyra.
missed the flash, gets the safeguard. Collateral damage does not finish the kill. Big could be going down here, forced to flash with the lantern for a bit of safety. Someday could have an entry from the Raptor pit. Lyra's backing, and they are giving him full body protection. Big in the front, trying to bait in a little bit more of a fight here and get that sweeper to make sure the ward is clear.
Big needs to back, though.
Yeah.
Big.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Lod's not going to let him. Your support is always going to protect that AD carry. He might have just got him killed. Seraph comes in from the side. They're not even going to have the equalizer, but he flashes in. That's how confident Envy was.
Oh, Lob flashing away there from Purian. Went with an aggressive flash and heal himself. And now Baron on the table, Elder Dragon on the table. Shockwave still up though for Keen. Could be decimating with his Void Staff coming through.
Just on the edge.
But Baron's getting shredded.
Shockwave whiffing just a millimeter away from its targets. Baron's going to be locked in by Envy after getting Dignitas roped into a mid lane fight.
Yeah, Envy with those 2 Mountain Drakes take it so quickly and just a full damage composition for the most part. It's pretty much that's Lyra who isn't, but also Big didn't back. Super low. Lyra back to be ready for a Baron afterwards, and they just press their gold advantage.
And with Lod going in that far, that's your shield. Your support's gonna be there for you.
Yeah.
Makes it hard. Makes it hard. Lod still looking for a few plays around the map. Playing Twitch as he should. Fearless, but not finding those hits.
Fearless, 3 levels down though.
It makes it tough. Makes it tough.
It makes it real tough. But that again, he walks up, does some damage to Purian, and then Seraph comes in, flashes on Big, just finishes him off there. Big had no flash. He's just forward trying to put himself in a position to lantern Lod, because that's what they want to do is have Lod walk forward. If he gets engaged on, they can ulti him with Shen, keep him alive. He can grab a lantern and get out. That's the idea behind Dignitas's composition, but Envy, really, you're just so far ahead.
The lane ward calling out where Envy is.
Yeah, push this bottom side of the map, push the mid, and then Talia wall this turret when it's up in a few seconds here.
Lyra coming up with the lane. Seraph, you take a lane, I'll take bot. Doesn't really matter now, they're so powerful. Dignitas yet to take a turret on the map, still trying to defend theirs, as they only have a few more to go down.
No turrets, no Drakes, just those 3 kills to their name. And I'm waiting for these Talia walls. I'm waiting for these diagonal Talia walls against the side to prevent rotation and to get some damage on the turret.
We have 1, 2.
I'm just waiting for it to go from like where Seraph is across the bottom, but they're just going for the fight instead. Look at that. That's a great one.
3 separate up. They're going to be forced down out of their gate, but that's no entry into a fight for them, so they're forced to go back now. Find solace on the fountain. Inhibitor goes down, and the bot wave can already be worked. Top's getting hit. They don't have to worry. The minion wave should stop it before the turret anyways.
And that wall was pretty dirty too. That was interesting because it could have been, if it was the other way around, Seraph could have cooked a whole lot of people, but he got flashes. It was really well played there from that combo. All right, Lod, you're level 16.
Level 3 on that ult.
What are you doing? Where are you at? Oh,
He's marinating the sewer skewers right now. He's getting ready.
getting ready. Waiting for that shockwave potential. Ooh. But it's an Elder Dragon. He caught Varus.
They box him in.
Oh,
it's going to be a
dead.
big hit onto Someday. Ow, Keen goes down incredibly fast in the fight, and Apollo keeps himself alive. Seraph stunned up. There's the Zanya's in. Apollo's going to hail of arrows over his head, possibly to get out. But they have what they need in the redemption. The team groups up collectively just behind the base wall. And it looks like Dignitas is now, without Keen, going to have a very hard time protecting these turrets.
Oh, yeah. Wave clear down. You kind of rely on Chaser. The Baron buff still on for a little bit longer here. But, yeah, they just got blasted. Keen couldn't do anything there. Big
focus.
Oh, Big landed some hooks, but
yeah,
it's too little too late now for these plays.
Such a different game here and a different composition from NV. Lyra coming out of the jungle on a strong, aggressive jungler to the back line near the fountain, takes down Big, able to get himself back to the front with the team. Lod on the left side trying to do what he can, but the Nexus is falling. and there's nothing they can do. We're going to a game 3 as Envy takes down Dignitas.
We are going to a game 3, Riv. The decider here, Envy do strike back against pretty much the same composition from Dig. They took their notes.
Yeah, the run back.
They picked some winning lanes, and they made it work. The skirmishing of Envy ended up being superior in the team fighting and the setup from Dig. They didn't give them a chance to do it. They got some great Drakes, they got some great Baron sneaks, and then they were able to close the game out from there. Took them 41 minutes. It was a kind of a rough crawl, but Envy came out on top. Now we're going to game 3.
Bringing the pain, working those windows. The earliest one we saw was the Shen ultimate that then kind of fizzled out. They didn't really, they did get to use it, I'm sorry. That was another one that fizzled out, but they did get to use it bot. Back out in the lane for someday, and then we saw Talia bot lane, the behind the wall, kills to the bot lane. They did it twice, and Envy was able to find those openings more than once. It was a different team than game 1.
Yeah, I liked that they were getting Pyrian out of the lane, affecting bottom. They really destroyed this Twitch. Like, Lod, 1-1-1, but he's down in levels pretty much the whole game off of the experience, the fact that he's grouped up with his team, splitting EXP with multiple people. So I definitely think that Envy were playing more the skirmish style, but they were clearing their side waves a little bit better, a little more independently, and that was not taken advantage of. And that allowed that made Dignitas not really have too much of a chance in this game come mid-game.
I gotta say, pretty impressive as well for Envy to go from a losing game and then against the same composition to not lose or have Dignitas take any turrets.
Yeah, and it's a risky,
crazy.
It's a risky comp too, right? It's very squishy. You rely on Lyra to set you up, but I think the winning lanes, especially the bottom lane with Hakuo, where you got off to a great start, 2-0 and 3 is what you remember at 100% KP, really did some work during that early game on the Karma.
Absolutely. Now for a closer look at that game, let's hand it off to our analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Riv. Game 2 here, Envy, much more reminiscent of the Envy of Spring Split, where out to an early lead, and then it's about whether or not they can close the game. This time around, they're able to do so, but it's all off the back of Lyra, putting Lyra again on a playmaker in the Lee Sin as opposed to the Ivern from game 1.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big thing is when you have your best player on a champion who's mostly a support and what it does best is go be annoying in counter jungle, kind of like a Nunu, it's hard to really influence the game. This time around, like you said, on the Lee Sin, he got that early gank or counter gank off in the bot lane. It went pretty well, but the other big thing was Pyrian, I think, because this is the one roster move that they made was swapping out Ninja for Pyrian, and Ninja was a guy who on control mages could struggle, had a lot of success on playmaking assassins, but once he got taken off those, he had a hard time impacting the game, especially mid and late, and I think that's the big difference.
Yeah, 2 major things jump out to me. As you mentioned, it's the champion pool switch up here, so Pyrian having some more mage options for the team, but also the roam down, right? And then what it does to allow them to continue to press their early game leads. Because Lyra's in the right place, right time, but then that Talia roam to the bot lane to pick up the secondary kill behind the turret is really what helps them start the game rolling.
Right, I mean, that's the thing is when this play initially happens, it's only a 1-for-1. And yes, Lyra's in the right place, getting ready for this counter gank. Know that the bot lane's been trading pretty hard. Apollo a little bit out of position there, goes down early. Lyra plays this one pretty slow, which I initially wasn't sure if I liked it. It seemed like he could have been forward more, but he doesn't want to risk getting turned on. So he waits for his cooldowns, goes for the flash Q. If you connect it, great, you get the kill. If not, assuming the communication is there, he knows Pyrian's coming down from behind. He knows that this kill is basically secured. So Pyrian gets the cleanup kill off a good follow from his passive there, being able to get him quickly down to that bot lane. And then they look, later, they keep kind of abusing this Pyrian once again with this roam down, this time not even needing Lyra. So just showing that they have a better understanding of how they want to use this champion. And they really beat up this bot lane on the side of Dignitas after Big had a great game 1.
Absolutely, but here's the thing. This is no surprise, right? Envy consistently did this throughout the spring split, and we even saw the little drop down throughout the game that they were first in gold leads at 20 of all teams while being the 10th place team in the league. And so no surprise that they're building the leads. Then the question becomes, will they actually close it out, get the W? They do this time around. As Irene mentioned, it was a slow crawl, if you will, and it did take a little bit of time, but hey, on the outset of the season, this is going to make me very happy in terms of the prospects of this team.
Right, and Pyrian picking up player of the game in that one is a big part of it because you're going to get these early game leads, like you said. Now, with a more stable mid lane mage player who also knows how to use the champion well, when they did have that Baron, sometimes Envy in the past got really risky. This time is basically free, and then they are also able to use his Talia wall to close out some of those inhibitor turrets and finish this game. That's one of those situations where Envy of last season might have struggled a lot there, not only with how they play it out, but with the champions available to make those decisions. So I think this is a situation where if you're an Envy fan, you're starting to say, hey, how good can we be? Because a lot of their losses last season were 3 games, and if they were just a little cleaner in the late game, this is a team that might even be pushing into playoffs.
Cautiously optimistic. And then, as you mentioned, most of their series went to 3 games, and it is all about winning 2 of those 3. They still have to do that. Envy have brought us to a Game 3. Meet us back here in a few minutes to see if they can take it or if Dignitas walk away with the win.
Oh, wow, they're going again?
I was going to say, it looks like they come coach. Oh, oh, the predict hook. Big's going to be there with the counter from Lyra. Big's going to be the first one going down. Now they're still going. Chaser comes in, and the line is missed. They take down Big. They take a fight. They can't finish. And now they're going to go past the minions. That's going to be the hit. The burn is on.
Okay, we like her fight after. Hello, Tick. Hello,
Almost had an engage there. Lot. I mean, he's being twitched, right? He's doing, oh no, Keen! In a real bad spot. There's the wall. We've been waiting for a block off. Exactly what I was thinking. Lot's not going to let him. Your support is always going to protect that 80 carry. He might have just got him killed. Seraph comes in from the side, and there's nothing they can do. We're going to a Game 3 as Envy takes down Dignitas.